Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the finals of the SCReddit Europe Community Invitational number 31. Oh yes. It's a community tournament run by the guys over at SCReddit.eu and of course Reddit EU at irc.quakenet.org. My name is TotalBiscuit. I'll be guest casting the finals for these folks, mostly because I remember we used to do an awful lot of these tournaments, just community-based stuff, as well as the SCReddit Invitational was probably one of my favorite Starcraft tournaments of all time, and quite frankly, I missed that. You know, that was a good thing. That was a good thing for the community. That was very positive. That was the kind of thing that would just get people watching Starcraft. It didn't even have to be big names. It just had to be the fact that it was Reddit organizing it and everything was cool and such. So it's really cool to see these community tournaments actually continuing to run. And of course, if you want to get involved in them, then all the details are actually in the box down to the bottom right there. You can clearly see the IRC channel as well as the website. Also, big thanks to LBNT for casting the rest of the tournament. This is, needless to say, a community tournament, which means that the guys we happen to have here are just community players. I have a little bit of information about both of them. We've got LKSF versus Revolution. Now, Revolution is a 16-year-old from London. He is currently on trial with the team CRG, which is Code Red Gaming, and you can find his stream over at twitch.tv/revolution with an 8 instead of an O, because why not? And he is in the Red Trunks playing Zerg to the southwest of Cloud Kingdom. Versus his opponent up to the northeast right here, it is LKSF, an 18-year-old from Sussex. I've been to Sussex before. It had expensive food, but it was relatively nice and I wasn't mugged. That's a plus. He is from Team Magus, and he also happens to have a stream, which is twitch.tv/IKSF. IKSF as opposed to LKSF. So there you go. I'll have to remember to call him IKSF. Although he could just be using that. That's the confusing thing, isn't it? That a lot of people have a tendency to use L's and the capital I interchangeably. Fairly understandable considering. So we can call him IKSF. We'll go with that just for the time being, because that's what his Twitch page happens to say. Could just mean that LKSF was already taken. As you're well aware, it's a very, very popular acronym. Not entirely sure what it means. A little bit of ZVZ action. This is going to be a best of 5. Single elimination, so no shenanigans going on one way or the other. Pool coming down here initially from Revolution. And it looks like we're probably going to have Hatch first from LK or IKSF. There we go, Hatch first. So, Hatch first versus Pool on 14, it's really not actually all that different, especially on a map like this. You might think, oh, well, aggression is coming from this guy. No, it probably means what he's going to get is slightly faster speed. Also means that, but the thing is, he hasn't actually grabbed gas yet, so we'll see if he decides to jump into gas anytime soon. He has put down his hatchery before gas. So what that indicates to me is that he's going to hold back on the aggression just a little bit. He's obviously going to have slightly later speed. Still no gas coming in from him. In the meantime, gas has actually been taken by IKSF. So if he starts to get that gas up and starts to mine, if we see no gas coming in from Revolution, who's just started his, then we might actually end up in the funky situation where the guy who went Hatch first actually ends up with the quicker Zergling speed. Entirely possible. In fact, it's looking quite likely at this stage. Gas is about to finish up here for Revolution, but he hasn't started mining any yet. You'll notice that there's 40 gas already available here for IKSF. So, an interesting start. Interesting situation. Well, that's fine. We'll see how it turns out. ZVZ has become an intriguing matchup, certainly over the past few months. Mostly because there's been so much of it. When you get that kind of dominance in a tournament, then you see the metagame evolve pretty quickly. As regards to what level these guys are, they're both Master League players. And obviously they did get to the finals, so they're definitely not terrible by any stretch of the imagination. Only 2 in gas here for Revolution, most likely a deliberate ploy. Wants to get his gas at a very specific timing, but also wants to focus on being able to get just a few more minerals. Because aside from the speed right now, the gas isn't really all that important. Baneling Nest now coming down for IKSF, so the question is who's going to be the aggressor here? Well, he's getting the earlier speed, which means that the chances are he will be the aggressor. The Baneling Nest, as you can see, is timed up so that it's going to finish around the time that Metabolic Boost does, which means that he's going to be able to build a swell of Zerglings, get them across the map quickly, and set up for some kind of Baneling attack. And in the meantime, Revolution's going to be playing defensively. He's going for the spine crawler there on the lower ground. You'll notice that he has a few more drones. Not too many. But I expect to see a round of units coming out here. And there is the defensive Baneling nest built at the front, which is immediately going to be scouted here by IKSF. So this Baneling nest at the front serves two purposes. Well, actually it serves one purpose. That purpose being to try and protect the spine crawler and just act as a partial wall off. It's also possible that Revolution might try to dump down an evolution chamber. We're going to see Lair actually directly after this here for IKSF. So I imagine he's not going to be committing too much to this attack. He's built 16 Zerglings. He's going to try and do some damage here. And when he has exhausted those Zerglings, chances are that that will be it. You can see he's actually already building drones behind this. So this is an aggressive push, but it's a push to where he's not convinced he can really do all that much damage. And here comes the surround. As you can see, the Baneling nest put in a place that doesn't allow for an optimal Zergling surround, which is driving IKSF off a little bit. Good double queen block there on the ramp here for Revolution. Now going for another engagement, but Revolution has what he needs to make this work, assuming that he can avoid the Baneling detonations, which he's currently doing quite nicely. Two Banelings, however, are making their way into the main, so there's all sorts of possibilities for damage here. And a couple of Lings also doing some significant damage here at the drone line. If that Baneling was able to detonate well, then that would be absolutely fantastic. And actually, this is working out pretty well indeed. Look at the amount of work that's killed already. We're looking at 6, and finally this is going to be shut down there by the drone drill by Revolution. But that was a reasonable run by, certainly. Let's equalize things a little bit, but Revolution still does have a decent number of drones. Just built another swell of them right here. But you'll notice that the lair advantage, the tech advantage, comes in the form of IKSF, who has now thrown down his Spire. Now, we're not seeing a Spire coming out yet, needless to say, because that lair is really delayed here from Revolution. That's a little bit worrying for him, actually. His queen count's only at 2. He doesn't have an evolution chamber, so he's not going to be building any spore crawlers anytime soon. And the question is, what kind of information does he have? Well, Revolution doesn't really know anything. He has no scouting information on the main, so this could potentially look like continued hatchery aggression, yeah? Ling Baneling, which is what a lot of these matches devolve into for quite some time. But in reality, what it was there's this one attack which did damage, arguably worthwhile, and behind it, he's got a lair and a Spire. Now, Spire is also coming up here for Revolution, but it's a full minute behind. So what we're going to have here, of course, is Mutalisks in the base of Revolution and him being able to do basically nothing about it. So that could be considered very concerning indeed. Got 6 coming down here, and Revolution able to defend this third hatchery area by the looks of it. He's definitely got the units to make that work. And, oh, we're actually going to see a block here. We're going to see this prevented from going down. So that's a nice little move there by IKSF, and he can just get out immediately. So that's a pretty significant delay, because as you can see, another drone hasn't actually been sent out yet to deal with that. And then we're going to see these Mutalisks come out. And the question is, does he go straight for the main base, or does he try and pick off Overlords? If he tries to pick off Overlords, of course, and that's going to take a little bit of time. Revolution, of course, now knows what's coming. Not that he can really build anything to deal with it. The Spire's going to be up in another 25 seconds, then it's going to take another 33 in order to build more Mutas. In the meantime, Revolution's going to have to back off, and the Ling's coming in from the back as well here for IKSF. And he certainly has the edge here going into this engagement. The question is, how long does he really take to go for it? He could, well, I mean, that third's pretty much going to be denied. There's no way to stop that from happening, simply because those queens are not going to be able to move into position. And what he can do is actually use this to pick off the Banelings. Ooh, this is really nice target fire right here from IKSF. All but one of the Banelings taken out, and that is it. So now we're seeing a significant Ling advantage here for IKSF, as well as the ability to attack from the air. And Revolution is in a whole lot of trouble here. Defending this is going to be very, very difficult with an overwhelming force hitting him right now. Plenty more Mutalist support coming in, and we're seeing a couple of Mutalisks now coming up. Revolution does not have enough Mutalisks here, assuming that LKSF can actually get in there with his entire Mutalisk pack. Right now, he doesn't have it. Most of that is across the map here. This is going to end up being cleaned up, but look at the amount of damage that's been done. 33 drones taken out here by IKSF. More drones running in to do significant damage, and Revolution is in a ton of trouble. And Muta versus Muta, as you're well aware, it's the guy that has one more Muta than his opponent that's actually going to win that. And quite frankly, looking at the situation here, IKSF certainly has the upper hand. There's no real question about that. 38 drones to 17. 15 Mutalisks to 11. A little bit of damage done to the Mutapack, but nowhere near enough to really matter. And honestly, there's no way for Revolution to really build enough Mutalisks at this point to actually catch up. He's building units. He's going for a counter-attack here. He doesn't have a huge amount of units to do it with, though. He's only got 12 Lings on the field and 11 Mutalisks. So, in this situation, I would say Revolution loses 100% of the time, and IKSF is going to make that work. And GG, ladies and gentlemen, there you go. The first game of this series goes to him. Nicely played. Very, very nicely played. Great performance there by IKSF. Revolution losing the first game in this best-of-5 series. That was a nice move, actually. I like that a lot. The whole notion of pushing forward with just one wave, not so much faking aggression, but having just this single aggressive push. Do the damage with it, make your opponent overcommit to defense, and in the meantime, of course, you're building a lair behind it, and you're going to gain this tech advantage. And if you go Muta versus Muta, and of course you're a full minute ahead of your opponent when it comes to your tech, then you can do significant damage, which is exactly what happened, and that was extremely well played there by IKSF. We'll be going to Game 2 very shortly. It's going to be on GSL Daybreak between these two. Apparently, Revolution was also supply blocked there at the worst time. It's never good. Never good. Alright, I am pretty much ready to go. I'm just going to quickly update the scoreboard here. And hope that the Blizzard little scoreboard thingy doesn't go in the wrong place, as it has a tendency to do. It's always a pain in the ass when trying to update scoreboards. Like, which side is it going to be on? I don't know, because Blizzard likes to guess. I guess we'll find out. If not, I'll have to change it around a little bit. But I pray for the day. I pray for the day when there'll be an in-game scoreboard, but not as of yet. Maybe in Heart of the Swarm. Alright, folks, here we go. We are now on Daybreak. And what do we have here? Well, we have IKSF, who is currently one game ahead in this best-of-5 series. He is in the blue trunks, and he is playing Zerg to the southwest. Versus his opponent, it is the one and only Revolution. He is in the red trunks, also playing Zerg to the northeast. Now, some of you might ask, well, what is the prize here? Well, it's Reddit gold, which is, of course, worth its weight. But, I don't know, I think we can add a little bit more there. So, how about we sponsor it an additional $50? That sounds like a good idea. Since both of these guys are from the UK, actually, let's make it £50, shall we? Yes, let's make it a little bit more interesting. Ooh, 10 pool coming out right here from IKSF. A very aggressive maneuver. Generally speaking, there's two builds you can really go with this. One of them is, of course, the infamous 10 pull speed. Now, that is going to not be the gas, of course. I think he was going for Extractor Trick there and wasn't actually able to turn it into anything. Oh, no, he's actually going to take the gas. I was going to say, because he needs to be looking for 10 pull speed here if he wants to go for the aggressive build, which means you need an earlier gas to match that up. Now, this is really, really good if Revolution decides to go hatch first. Not so good if it decides to go 14 pool, but there's still a fairly inherent advantage here. It can force a really, really early Baneling nest from your opponent. And of course, with a big run by, especially with 6 Lings coming from this stage, and then as soon as you can, grabbing speed, you've got this sort of double stage attack. When the initial attack hits, it's like, oh crap, there's Lings in my base. Which is actually fine, because usually you have, especially on a map of this size, you end up having the spawning pool up at the right time. The really nasty part is when you follow it up with a Baneling nest, and then those initial Lings kind of poke and prod, and then suddenly 2 of them are Banelings, and then speed kicks in. But this is actually not going to be speed by the looks of it. This will be just 10 pull Ling, slow Ling Baneling, which is very much all in at this stage. This has got to do a lot of damage, especially since the hatchery is already going up. He's going to be dedicating a lot to this attack. So let's see if he can actually make this work. Well, the 6 Lings are already coming out here from Revolution. Now, I don't see this hatchery being denied. These 2 Lings at the back here are going to be Banelings, most likely. Assuming he can keep them out of the way. Revolution now moving in to engage. Banelings now moving in, and ooh, that was actually out of vision range, surprisingly enough. Now it's going to be spotted. Revolution is going to try and stop those Banelings from coming in, but there's no way to really make that happen. And Revolution has got to get Spinecrawler down. He's got to get Queens out. There's the Spinecrawler coming down as I say that in order to make this work. And, of course, he's got a drone split like a boss. Otherwise, he's going to be in serious trouble here. He's also got a Ling split. If there's Banelings detonate on either of those things, that's going to be really, really awkward. Oh, that Spinecrawler's not going to go up either. And these two Banelings are going to connect at some point, going right for the Lings. Get a good connection going on here. He's losing quite a lot of Lings, but, of course, he is reinforcing. These two Banelings now moving in for connection. Look at that. That is a nice little pot that he could be hitting here. Here comes the second wave to follow that up. A lot of Lings killed already, and IKSF with a good force coming in. This could end very, very quickly here. Nicely defended so far by Revolution, but honestly, he didn't have the numbers to really make this work. There's 4 more Banelings coming in from behind here. Look at the economic damage that's being inflicted. Revolution is only on 8 drones. And with 4 more Banelings coming in, this is going to be very, very difficult for Revolution to actually handle. The Spinecrawler not going up is disastrous. Losing the Queen is disastrous. And these 4 more Banelings may very well spell the end unless Revolution can somehow take them out before they reach the drone line, which is not going to happen right now by the looks of it. This is going to be a connection. Oh, yes, that is 2 drones to 9 right now. And Revolution in a huge amount of trouble as IKSF going with the very effective Ling, Baneling all in on 1 base. And that is GG, ladies and gentlemen. Or indeed, no GG, according to Revolution. And that's a quick one going out right here. A very, very impressive display. Very well controlled there by IKSF. Excellently done. Alright, this could be a very quick 3-0 by the looks of it between these two guys. And we'll be going into Game 3 very, very shortly. Once I'm done with this, by the way, we'll probably do a few other games. I don't want to sit here and just do a 20-minute broadcast, so we'll do a little bit of Starcraft. Why not? I actually have some really nice HOTS replays. I might be able to show you those. Plus, of course, we could do some customs, whichever you prefer. Alright, well, IKSF with the 10 pull, Slowling, Baneling all in. Revolution not able to deal with that, and currently, IKSF on track for a 3-0 win here. GSL Entombed Valley will be the next one. Well, so question is Revolution tilted after that one? It's a very good question. Because, yeah, that's a cheese. It's a good cheese. It's very effective cheese. I mean, in ZVZ, you often have to throw those builds into a series because it can really catch your opponent off balance. And the question is, has Revolution got his head in gear in order to deal with that? I would expect, honestly, to be honest, with IKSF up 2 games, I would not be surprised at all to see him cheese again, because you can definitely afford to do that when you're up 2 in a best-of-5 series. That would be pretty cool. So, I'm intrigued. We might see cheese coming out from IKSF once again. Definitely a possibility. Alright, here we go, folks. Let us find out. Well, up to the northeast, currently down 2 games in this best-of-5 series. In the Red Trunks playing Zerg, it is Revolution from Team Code Red Gaming. Versus his opponent, it is in the Blue Trunks playing Zerg as well. To the southwest, from Team Migas, it is IKSF. As you can see, currently 2-0 on the scoreboard. Now the question is, does IKSF choose to cheese again? Is he going to go for 10 pull? Or are we actually going to see cheese from his opponent? Well, it looks like Revolution's probably just going to stop on 9 and go Overlord. IKSF has not built an Overlord yet. There it is. It's actually a late Overlord. Unnecessarily so. Generally speaking, you should be building your Overlord on 9 supply rather than 10, unless you are doing the extractor trick. The reason is that you sit there with lava that you can't actually spend, and it just delays things slightly. It's not by a huge amount. It just kind of throws your build order off by a second or 2. So it's not really a big deal, but at the end of the day, we're not going to be seeing cheese initially. What we are going to see here is actually a very early gas from Revolution. That's an unusual timing, actually. Getting the gas at 12. It seems extremely likely, of course, that he'll follow this up with a pull, as he does on... That's a 12 pull. I've actually seen this before. This is a build that Symbol used back in Iron Squid 1. He actually used it against Marine King Prime. I believe he also threw it into his series, into one of his ZVZ series. And it's a wonky timing. It's a really odd timing. It allows, of course, for defensive play, but it also allows for some really aggressive speedling play without being too sacrificial on the economy. It's not an all-in, it's just a more aggressive form of this build. It allows you to essentially have enough for speed as soon as the spawning pool finishes, as you can see. This is actually quite nicely timed. He's going to have about 100 gas by the time the spawning pool finishes here. And he can go straight into speed. Right about now. He's actually going to take a second gas as well. So that's it. No, he's not. That's an extractor trick. Never mind. Because it looks like actually he is a little bit supply blocked there. But that's the nature of the build. If you're going to get 6 lings and you're going to get speed out immediately, chances are you also can't build an overlord along with a queen. So that's fine. It allowed him to get the 6 lings that he wanted. That's the most important thing. And he'll remain supply blocked for a little while, but that's going to be cleared. And then he's going to follow this up with Baneling. So this is 12 pool. Speedling, Baneling on 1 base. So this is pretty all-in-ish, honestly. Not quite as much as IKSF's, because obviously there's a few more drones behind it. And you can definitely transition out of it easier. But it's still pretty much all-in. Now the question is, can he do the damage? IKSF has gone for the hatchery. He does have gas. He is building speed, actually. Surprisingly quick. There's like this 30-second time where Revolution can really do a lot of damage here, where he's going to have speed and his opponent won't. The question is, can he exploit it? More to the point. Lings are now ranging out onto the field. They have not spotted these things. Actually, a great position here. Really nice position for Revolution's Banelings, just morphing in completely out of sight. We don't have a second queen from IKSF, but we will shortly, which means a very real possibility of a queen block on that ramp. And, oh, this has been spotted. IKSF turning around and figures out what's going on, but he gets a really bad engagement then. Revolution completely annihilates those lings, and the question is, can we get this in here? He wants to try and stop him from getting into the base, but queens are too slow and terrible. One Baneling goes off, and the queen has been eliminated here by Revolution, and can he make something work here with those Banelings? No, he can't, but he can get this around and take out the second queen as well, and gets a good engagement here. Speed, as you can see, kicking in. Also was just finished here for IKSF, who does not have his defensive Baneling nest, and Revolution doing some serious economic damage, already killing a worker and 2 queens. Now going at there's very little to actually defend this right now. Revolution has to be decisive with this move, however. IKSF actually is going to run across the other side of the map, which is a pretty smart thing to do in order to draw Revolution away from his base, allowing him to build more lings, simply by threatening the notion that I'm going to go attack you then, if you're going to go attack me. Revolution realizing, hang on a second, I'm having the majority of my forces drawn away here by IKSF. Of course, the risk of it is that too many reinforcements coming from Revolution to actually manage to sandwich and catch IKSF. But as you can see, IKSF is actually in a good position now. Because he managed to draw Revolution all the way out, he's able to get some defensive Banelings. Admittedly, he's completely outnumbered in terms of Revolution's Banelings, who's gone in with 6. And he does have these 2 hatcheries, but he doesn't have any queens. Trade coming in right there. IKSF goes for it, but, I mean, look at it. He's completely outnumbered. There's the cancel going in, and that was an efficient trade there for IKSF, honestly. Only 2 Banelings left on the map here. If he was able to get 2 for 1, which he can, then he's in a pretty good position here, but he's still completely outnumbered. He needs a really good Baneling detonation to actually deal with this massive swell of lings. Revolution realizes, uh-oh. And honestly, I gotta say, IKSF is holding this well right now. He really, really is. And with a couple more Banelings coming in, unless Revolution can get a decisive engagement in the next couple of minutes, then we're going to see an economic advantage here for IKSF, a pretty clear one. Revolution with more Banelings coming in, but IKSF morphing 5 of his own, and I have a feeling, honestly, that the time for this has passed. IKSF defended this really well, looking to get the trade there on the Banelings. Didn't get the detonation. Brings in the second one here. This is 3 for 3. Not ideal. Could have definitely done a lot better than that, but not terrible. IKSF now has the Baneling lead, 5-2. I think we can get some good engagements here. Oh, a nice hit right there for Revolution. But that was his last Baneling. He's moving in a couple more. He still hasn't expanded yet. He's still doing nothing but building lings here. Of course, the problem with building a lot of lings into a choke point is that Banelings trade extremely efficiently. Oh, 3 of Revolution's Banelings going up as well. IKSF dealing with that one really, really well. And honestly, Revolution is getting in a progressively worse spot here. He's got to think about expanding. He's got to think about transitioning out of this. IKSF moving out to scout already sees the massive swell of Lings. But with this many Banelings, I don't see any way for Revolution to make his way through unless IKSF makes a mistake. And this is looking increasingly less likely here. It's been a pretty long all-in. Revolution with 3 Banelings versus 7 for IKSF. Can't move his Lings in, and actually, as you can see, he's backing off here. Banelings now moving in to try and get a good connection, but I don't think that's going to happen, really. It shouldn't. It really, really shouldn't. Oh, he gets a good splat on that one, but he can't really get the follow-up here. Lings now moving in, but again, this is kind of all or nothing here for Revolution. There's so many Banelings still on the map here for IKSF. Revolution just can't move in and do any damage, which means, of course, that if IKSF wanted to, he could drone behind this. He's not doing so, so the perceived economic advantage is not actually that big. But it could be. If Revolution stops piling on the pressure, which he looks like he's going to, he's actually going to have to move into a defensive posture, then IKSF can build rounds of drones, and he's going to be in a really good spot. That said, Revolution does have a lot of cash available. He can expand, and he himself could build a round of drones. Looking for the trade right here. IKSF moving with a couple of Banelings. This is a really weird position. A gentleman's agreement between these Banelings right now. It's like, well, I won't blow up on you, bro, if you don't blow up on me. That sounds reasonable, right? Oh, no, Revolution! Take a little bit of damage there. He can't afford to take losses to his drone line. Absolutely not. Definitely doesn't want to do that. They have aggressive defense there with the Banelings. And Revolution now moving in to connect. And he gets the connection. Oh, 6 around by Revolution. Takes a lot of Lings out already. And now is pushing across the map already. He may be able to make this work. Waiting for IKSF to actually push out and get aggressive was pretty smart. He was able to significantly thin the lead in terms of those Banelings. But I still want to see Revolution expand here, honestly, because there are still quite a lot of Banelings. That said, I don't know. I mean, if he gets good connections here, then that is what he will need to get into this base. Uh-oh, Baneling now moving into position. Revolution's going to have to move out. Needs to split the unit off and not deal with that. Nice hit by Revolution. Takes down 6 Lings. I love the fact that all the Speedlings are running away from that single Baneling. What a hero. Revolution now moving in, but IKSF getting great trades. Excellent trades here. That defense was absolutely rock solid. Looking to try and get the Queen. He can get it, maybe. He doesn't want to risk it. No, he's going to connect. He's going to make that work. Oh, Queen is the luckiest Queen ever. Single Ling needs to... It's the Assassin Ling. But unfortunately, is not able to connect. Man, Assassin Ling would have been the most heroic Ling this game, but... Once again, IKSF holds it really, really well. Lots of Banelings coming at 6. Oh, he's going to transition out to the Roach Warren instead of actually expanding. That's not a bad move. Not a bad move. He's still running really low economy, though. I don't really necessarily like the idea of going to a Roach Warren with only 9 drones. Roaches are a little bit pricey. They can be difficult to actually build in large numbers. A few might help, certainly. They would act as a buffer to those Banelings. They would also allow them to target fire the Banelings. Once again, IKSF with the great trades. Revolution looking to connect with this swell of Lings, but hasn't managed to do so as of yet. Revolution needs to bring those Lings in order to surround and then be able to get the connection. Okay, so he's going to be able to build about 4 Roaches here. At least he was until he built 2 Overlords, which is kind of the problem. You build your Roach one and then suddenly realize, I don't have any supply. I can't do anything with it. So that's a bit problematic. Revolution currently sitting on 4 Banelings versus the 3 of IKSF, but IKSF has the defender's advantage here. And is efficiently picking off Banelings every single time Revolution moves in. So he's going to move in with this 3 Roach Spearhead, which of course is going to take about 5 years to get across the map. IKSF has built a few more drones, not a huge number. Now it's going to be 6 Roaches here. Now IKSF does not know about that. And this could be the ace in the hole here for Revolution as his extremely lengthy all-in on one base continues. He's still sitting on 12 drones versus 22 now. Now he must do damage. If this doesn't work, which actually with the Spine Crawlers coming up, it looks like it might not, then that's going to be GG. And IKSF is going to take this 3-0 pretty easily. Simply because Revolution does not have the economy behind this to sustain it. We're already also seeing a lair coming in. So if Mutas were to come out, then that would be it. There's no question. Let's see if Revolution can make this work. He's got 3 Roaches at the front, but there are 3 Spine Crawlers about to complete. And honestly, I don't think Revolution's got enough here. Unless he can pick those Banelings off and then surge in. And that's what he's going to do. IKSF wisely moving the banelings back. The roaches have got to target fire those down. Spinecrawlers are already coming up here. Revolution with a little bit of indecisiveness. IKSF smartly moving that back, and he's going in for it. He's got to target those banelings down, otherwise it's going to be an absolute disaster here for Revolution. One of those banelings already detonated. Really good Spinecrawler control right here, and there's the surround. Banelings go off. A good hit there by IKSF, and he's defending this really well. And honestly, unless Revolution's able to get the rest of those roaches in play, which is what he's trying to do right now, he does have 8. Which might be enough to break this. Although with that many Spinecrawlers coming down, I don't know. Revolution is so far behind here in terms of his economy and his tech. He must do damage. He must pick the Spinecrawlers off. Nice little transfuse coming in right here. Banelings to follow it up. And this is going to be a good Baneling connection here from IKSF. Once again, trading super efficiently. Revolution trying to engage right now, but he's actually outnumbered and outgunned by the looks of it. Lings moving in for IKSF. The Spinecrawler nicely picking off yet another roach. I know Revolution doesn't want to throw this one away, but quite frankly, it looks like he's going to have to. 30 drones to 12, no expansion still. No follow-up from the tech either. IKSF in a really good position. Revolution's follow-up is much, much weaker. There are 3 Spinecrawlers up here, which means that, honestly, there's no way that Revolution could really do a lot of damage here, unless he gets the luckiest Baneling hits in the universe. He would have to wipe out that entire Ling force, and IKSF has no intention of allowing that to happen, because look at that Spinecrawler target fire. All of the Banelings, aside from 2 taken down, that one's detonated on only 3, unless this one can connect, which it almost does. Right now, more damage is coming in. Revolution actually able to get the surround here on the Spinecrawlers, doing some damage. Unfortunately, it looks like he's actually outnumbered on the ground here. IKSF does have the numbers to make this work. Gets a great surround, eliminates that. That roach is going to go down as well. We're looking at 8 Lings to 20 and 27 drones versus a paltry 12. There's the GG, ladies and gentlemen, and your champion for the SCReddit Community Invitational is, of course, IKSF with a 3-0 sweep. Oh... Revolution. Don't beat yourself up, bro. He's still 5,000 times better than I'll ever be. And there you go. That is your finals for the SCReddit Community Tournament number 31. Congratulations to IKSF that walks away with the Reddit Gold and 50 English pounds, as sponsored to you by CynicalBread.com. Surprise. Well, that was a ZBZ series, so it was a little bit short. I think it would be nice if we were to do a few more games of some description, so if you will give me a little bit of time, I will reset things up, try and figure out exactly what we want to do. We could do some customs, of course, may do some mono battles or something along those lines, and we might do so on the EU server, actually, which is something we haven't done for quite some time. So if you give me a few minutes, I'll reset up things and we'll get something done. But thank you once again to SCReddit Europe for letting me cast this. A lot of fun. The community tournament number 31. Keep an eye on SCReddit.eu and Starcraft.reddit.com for information on future events. These are open events. Anyone can participate, so it's a lot of fun for lower league players and, of course, casuals and amateurs. Thanks once again to LBNT for casting the remainder of the tournament, to Reddit user Willem for sponsoring the Reddit Gold, and, of course, Raziel for organizing the tournament and the r/Starcraft moderator team. Check out the IRC channel over at #Reddit EU at QuakeNet. I'll be back on in a few minutes with some more StarCraft action of some description.